it's interesting because I've started using mullein a lot more, and I've had a lot of lung issues throughout my life. So now I'm feeling this is kind of an example of what a healing crisis can look like is you need the symptoms of the ailment to come to the surface in order for it to be resolved. So if I have mucus and weak lungs, you hear that rasp? I need to be able to pull the mucus out of my lungs and my body in order for that to clean out and function the way that it's supposed to. Okay, so the reason I wanted to have this video is because a subject came up in a book that I'm reading, and it's something I have felt really strongly about, but it was brought to, it was spoken with such eloquence that it made so much more sense to me that I wanted to talk about it. And it has to do with our body being a self-regulating ecosystem. We're not just a single organism, we are an ecosystem. And we are a piece of an ecosystem, just like every animal, every flower, every plant, every part of nature, and our entire earth is a fragment of a whole system. And when you try to remove a piece of that system, the entire system begins to collapse. This is true for the body. If we are trying to treat a symptom based on just a singular organ system, or just a single organ, or just a single symptom, or even removing organs, you are not going to get to a cure or to a full resolution of that ailment because you're not addressing it in the whole grand scheme of the ecosystem of your body. Every single thing is interconnected. Every cell, every nerve, your energy centers, the meridians, everything. Your body works the way it does because of all of the separate units within it functioning at an optimal way. That is what the mechanism of detox is meant to address. Oh man, fresh apple juice. I just came back from the gym and sauna too, so I'm pulling up so much in the lungs there. Okay. If you have a certain condition or symptoms that are coming up, to try to remove it and observe it as a separate unit of the body, you're not going to see it like an organ, for example. Doctors like to remove organs with the idea that that's going to resolve the issue. It's very not true. It is not going to resolve the issue. If anything, it's going to make it worse. And it's going to push it into other organ systems. So you remove the gallbladder or you remove the appendix. There's no such thing as a organ that doesn't have a function, that doesn't have a purpose. So you remove an organ, you might notice a reduction or even a complete cessation of previous symptoms that you were having, like gallstones, for example, or appendicitis, because obviously if you remove the organ, you're removing that particular symptom. Clearly, you are no longer going to be able to get gallstones if you don't have a gallbladder, but that does not mean it has fixed the issue. Same with kidney stones. Same with appendicitis. All of these are symptoms of a system issue as an interconnected ecosystem, as all of the working parts, just like a car. If you take out a piece of the car is not going to run the way that it's supposed to. If any part of the car isn't working the way it's supposed to, the car isn't going to run properly. You're going to see it affect other parts of the car. Just like once you get to like transmission or engine issues, usually those aren't the first things that come up. There are other pieces of the car that began to give you symptoms or issues before it progressed into engine and transmission breakdown. The body is the same thing. It will continue to progress symptoms further and further and be pushed deeper into the body. As long as you're just treating from the surface, as long as you're just treating based on single symptoms or single organ systems. That is also why I don't like to use herbs or any type of holistic remedy for that matter in a way of single remedies. I do use essential oils here and there for certain relief of symptoms, but I know like sinus for sure, but I know that that's not going to cure it. I know that that's not going to bring resolution to the deeper issue. I have my own work that I'm going to be starting shortly to dig into my own body because I've delayed it for a long time. I've done the work years ago and then I got divorced and kind of fell into my own patterns and kind of lost connection with the needs of my body. So I'm coming back into into kind of the nutritional healing work, and I'm going to get deeper into it by doing my own all fruits, all juices, fasting, etc. to get into the issues that I know have gotten worse over the last few years in particular. Lungs for one, digestion for one. I have some varicose veins. Those are highly circulatory issues. I've had chronic sinus issues my whole life. They're starting to be relieved as I address the teeth. But again, teeth is a surface issue. There's more going on in my body that has brought on the dental stuff. Part of it is the mercury fillings I have in my teeth as well, which has greatly depleted not only the teeth, which are much of the ones I'm dealing with, but has also created toxicity in my body because of the heavy metals. And I do actually think that has been part of my illnesses as well, which is why I'm choosing to extract the teeth. I don't necessarily think just getting mercury removed and replacing with other fillings necessarily fixes that issue because it highly depends on the state of the tooth as a whole and whether it's actually worth saving. Sometimes I personally feel like having it already been drilled and filled with mercury, I feel the tooth and the nerves of the tooth have already been highly poisoned and contaminated, and the tooth is already sick. So it should be removed. I know it's a hard thing to do, but I do think, that's my journey. But that's another example of addressing a piece or removing a piece and ignoring the whole. You can remove all your teeth, have dentures, but if you're not addressing what has caused your teeth to decay and break down, it's going to go into other parts of your body. So like I was saying, you can remove an organ and it might resolve symptoms. Because that organ's removed, it can no longer show up symptoms in that organ, but it's going to shift into different organs. You're going to start to see other symptomology, other illnesses and conditions come up. So that is why sometimes just changing your diet doesn't always work, because there is a depth to a detoxification protocol that includes fruits, fasting, herbal support that is crucial to being able to clean, eliminate, and regenerate the body. So we're cleaning it out digestively. At colon, you want to get out, eliminating all the waste, whether that be toxins, stagnants, and that goes for kind of our energetic spaces as well. And then bringing in the maintenance side of regenerating. A lot of people miss the post detox We can't just be on detox forever. There's a nourishment and a maintenance phase. It helps rebuild the body. As long as we keep just detoxing and detoxing it, you really start to put a strain on your body. And I'm learning this as far as our Ayurveda in my herbalism course as well. And I actually am in a certification program for Ayurvedic medicine as well, which is going to be next after my herbalism course. So this is my year of learning and really growing my craft, my healing craft, as a whole body, holistic, herbal, and Ayurvedic support system. It is not about treating symptoms or particular conditions. This is a whole body system. It is a self-regulating ecosystem, and it needs to be treated as such and nourished as such. So if you would like support in that journey for yourself, please let me know. I would love to guide and support you in your own whole body wellness. So thank you.